Hi everyone, it's Sam and I'm back for another video. Wow, 2 in the space of 24 hours is a miracle for me because I don't do videos that often, I really should. But anyway, this is going to be a vlog because I've never done a vlog before and I just want to talk randomly for the next 20 minutes or so. So, this is basically a follow-up to Noel's video in regards to the petition to continue MLP. The petition to bring My Little Pony Friendship is Magic to a 10th season and possibly beyond. So to start off with, I just want to quickly look at the petition. Here it is in front of me on change.org. You know, before I go on about this petition, I just want to say change.org is full of petitions, obviously, but a lot of them are petitions which are kind of pointless. You know, did you know there's a petition on here that had 1 million people sign it to have Game of Thrones remade, which is just stupid. You know, it seems like we live in a world now where if people don't get what they want, they immediately go on and start signing petitions like this to try and get stuff done. In the real world, let's just say most companies that do TV shows, once something's done, it's done. They're only really going to carry on with something if they can make a profit in it. But anyway, so My Little Pony Season 10. So basically, I think this has been ongoing for a couple of months, this particular petition. It just starts off simply stating, you know, according to the link, Hasbro have announced on Facebook that Season 9 will be the final season. Yes, it is, as we know. And then in capitals it says, but it must go on for a 10th season and so on. Just because if it went on for another long years does not mean people will lose interest. I mean, look at Sesame Street. It's been on since 1969 and it's still going strong. Same goes for other shows such as SpongeBob SquarePants. Basically, please sign a petition to the series, to the show, and not to abandon Gen 4. So far, it's got 2,178 signed, and they're looking at 2,500 signatures, so they're almost there. Right, okay. As you know, people, I am a Brony. Obviously, this is a Brony channel. And obviously, me and Nosy have been watching MLP for a good 6 going on 7 years, I'd say. But I'm going to be blunt here, okay? I'm going to be really blunt. I am not a fan of these kinds of petitions. I actually really hate them. Now, don't get me wrong. I generally wouldn't mind to have seen a 10th season. To have rounded it off at 10 seasons, 10 years, yeah, it would have been nice. But, let's just be honest. MLP, Friendship is Magic, it's at a point now where there's not a lot more that can be done. They've finished a lot of the character story arcs. They're wrapping a lot of it up in Season 9. By the time Season 9 is finished, there won't be anything else for them to tell. And to try and compare My Little Pony with stuff like Sesame Street and SpongeBob, they're very different shows. I'll hold my hand up and say that I haven't watched SpongeBob for quite a few years. I didn't even know it was still ongoing, to be honest, so there you go. But when you look at shows like sort of Sesame Street, they don't really have interlinking story arcs. MLP does. And a lot of the interlinking story arcs are done with, they're completed. And even if they did do a Season 10, let's say hypothetically Season 10 was happening, you'd probably still end up with this petition to keep it going. Now, I don't want to beat about the bush, so I'm just going to say it like I see it here, people. I am concerned. I have some concerns for people within the Brony fanbase, because I generally am concerned that there are people within the fanbase who are going to struggle without the show on air, without the show, you know, we're coming back, and without the show continuing. Just to point out, people, you can buy it all on DVD. I literally just got seasons 4, 5 and 6 a couple of days ago, so, you know, along with the MLP movie and all the Equestria Girls stuff, I'm fairly up to date with the DVD releases, minus a few of the Equestrial Girl shorts I don't have on DVD yet. But that's my point. We can continue to watch it long after it's finished because of the DVDs. So that's a reason to keep watching it alone. In regards to the petition, I'm just going to say it, I'm going to be blunt. Apologise, but I can be pretty blunt at times. 2,500 people is not enough. That is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the Brony fan base. Even if some of the people signing it don't consider themselves Bronies and just consider themselves as people that like to watch it once a week and enjoy it, but just simply because of that, it still isn't enough. Now, I'm not too sure how big the Brony fan base is currently. I know at its height it was estimated to be about 20 million members strong. Now, getting 2,500 people to sign this petition, unfortunately, Hasbro won't even look at it because it's not enough. I mean, for a petition to be discussed in government, I mean, I know this isn't a government petition, but for a petition to be considered to be looked at in government, it has to have at least 100,000 signatures. So if you think about it, you're looking at 100,000 people would be needed. You know, it's more than what you'd need. I mean, well, let me look at something really quickly, people. Right. I know this is a bit out of sync here, but yeah. Basically, right, 10,000, right, if a petition has 10,000 signatures, it will get a response from the government. If it has 100,000 or over, it has to be debated in Parliament. I know that that's not what we're looking at here, but I'm using that as an example. I reckon, realistically, if Hasbro were to really sit down and think, what about Season 10? They would have to have a petition of, I'd probably say, an absolute minimum of, I'd say, 100,000 people. Just to simply say it. And in truth, I don't really know how big the Brony fan base is currently. People have left in the last 2 or 3 years. People have announced to the world, to the Brony fan base, that they're leaving. But to try and keep a franchise going when it's reached its inevitable end is pointless. And as I said, people, if there is worry out there, if people are getting anxious because the series is ending, the Brony fanbase isn't going anywhere. A fanbase doesn't end the day a series finishes, because it isn't just about the series, it's about the people in the fanbase. It's about the people doing fan art, people doing fan fictions, people doing stuff on YouTube, people doing music for it. It's endless. And although I completely understand why people want to keep this going for at least one more season, we need to accept that the series has reached its end game. It's coming to its natural end. And I do want to speak about this more in other videos, and I promise myself I will, so I will sort that out at some point. But in regards to the petition, as I said, I'm not a fan of these kind of petitions, because a lot of the time they don't really go anywhere. I mean, sometimes they do, but you have to look at a series for what it is, and this is what it is. Money. At the end of the day, a series like My Little Pony is money. Hasbro will keep it going as long as they know there is profit in it, and as long as they know they can sell merchandise, and as long as they know there's interest in it. Now, okay, I will admit I don't really know what the numbers are like currently for MLP. I don't know what the watch numbers are. I don't know if it's what it was at the heyday of it, or if it's dropped. I generally have no idea. But as I say, money. At the end of the day, a series is only going to stay on as long as it makes money, and as long as it's profitable for the company that basically designed it, host it, show it, all that stuff. a lot of the time as well, that's the thing. You have to kind of look at it from that perspective. Yes, MLP has a big fan base. Yes, it has a lot of people that love it. Yes, it has done a lot for people. It has changed people's lives for the better, and it's very rare for a series to do that and for a fan base to do that. But you still have to look at it from a business perspective. I mean, I'm no expert on business perspectives, but at the end of the day, there is probably a reason why Hasbro are ending it at season 9. I think part of the reason is that a lot of the plot points have come full circle and they haven't got anything new that they could talk about or do within the series. Believe me, I hold it to you. I mean, good on you for doing this petition, but 2,500 people, it's not enough. As I said, I reckon you need 100,000 people minimum to get Hasbro's attention. You could get this petition signed, and I reckon it will hit the 2,500 mark by the end of the week. You could then ship it off to Hasbro, but the real truth is that they probably won't give it to a second glance, because 2,500 people isn't enough, you know. And I generally think you need to look at the perspective from the Brony fan base as well. Although the Brony fan base in a lot of ways isn't what it once was, it's still a big thing. It's still there. And I generally believe a lot of people will keep up the Brony fan base, will go to the conventions, will still make material for it, will still talk about it. And as I said, don't forget we have DVDs. We can re-watch it as many times as we want. We can discuss it as many times as we want. So don't let the fact it's ending get to you too much. And as I'm going to say, if you want to talk to anybody, seriously, get out there on the forums, get out there on the Facebook groups. You know, there's always going to be people that are willing to listen and willing to talk if you're generally struggling with the ending of MLP. But as I said, I am a fan of these petitions, and it's largely because I sometimes feel like people struggle a bit with letting go of things. I mean, we do, it's natural, but sometimes we have to accept that a series ends, it ends. And sometimes these petitions don't do anything, sometimes they do, other times they're signed for stupid reasons. And I'm not saying that the MLP one is a stupid reason, it isn't, it is a viable reason, but it doesn't have enough backing, it doesn't have enough support. Don't forget, we do have another film coming out in about 18 months. There's another in 2021, so literally 18 months really. There's another MLP film coming out, a cinematic film. We don't know anything about it. We don't know if it's going to be the Gen 4 characters. We don't know if it's possibly going to be the film that will end the Gen 4 story, or it could be the film that starts Gen 5. We don't know. And as I said, Gen 5, that's been flopping around the internet now for about 3 years. We don't know what Gen 5 is. We don't know when it will happen. I've no doubt there will be a Gen 5 of My Little Pony, but we don't know when it'll happen or what it will be about. I'm not going to get into the theories about it because people have discussed it from here to there for the last year, so there's no point in me going into it. But yes, the petition is a nice gesture, but as I've said, it just doesn't have the backing, and there lies the problem. I mean, I'm always going to be a fan of MLP. A bit of me will always be a Brony. A bit of me will always enjoy it. But there are plenty of series out there that end and the fan base keeps on going. And that's an important thing. And just to remember, people, don't let it get to you. Don't think that because the show's ending, the Brony fan base is going to end. It won't. A fan base carries on because of the love of the show and support of the fans. So as long as people keep going to the conventions and keep supporting the show online through various platforms, the franchise will live on. And it will live on anyway, because Gen 5 is bound to happen. So, through and through, as I said, that's my piece. I don't really have a lot more to say on the subject. But, keep strong, people, and remember, every franchise has to end eventually. And that's unfortunately is life. But as long as you support the show through the years to come, that's what a true fan's about. So thanks for watching, people. It has been a bit of a ramble, but you know. Peace out. Let's keep staying strong, guys.